Well, hello everyone. Happy Tuesday. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you all back to Before the Four, where I go over 48's top stories before our evening newscast. And of course, if you are just now joining in to Before the Four, you're not quite sure what you're watching right now. It is me, digital host A.J. Wuest. I just talk about our top stories on a live stream. We do a live stream on Facebook, we do one on YouTube, and of course, we do it on the 48 live stream page on our digital app. And speaking of apps, yesterday we launched our 48 Sports Zone app. So if you are a big sports fan here in North Alabama, you like to keep up with the local teams, the local high schools, you have the perfect app now if you download the 48 Sports Zone app. We post all of our sports content on that app now, so if you haven't downloaded already, I would recommend to get that as soon as possible. The 48 Sports Zone app, it is a really big thing coming. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you download the 48 digital app and also the 48 First Alert weather app. Turn on those push notifications and get all the breaking news delivered directly to you. But with that said, we have some stories to get into today. So without further ado, let's start it off. And starting things off, a 2-year-old girl was pronounced dead yesterday evening after she was found in a pool in Morgan County. Now this happened off Gandy's Cove Road. Morgan County authorities responded to the home and the child was transported to the Coleman Medical Center where she was pronounced dead. 48's Matthew King will be following up with this very sad story coming up in our evening newscast. And a scary situation in Arab that involved another 2-year-old child last night. According to the Arab Fire Department, authorities responded to a possible drowning call near Almond Drive around 7 p.m. The 2-year-old girl was taken to the Marshall County Medical Center before being flown to Birmingham for further treatment. Her condition is unknown at this time. But 48 Savannah Sapp, she will be following up on this situation coming up at 4, so make sure you all stick around for any updates Savannah might have. There have now been 3 possible drownings in the past 2 days. The first one in Harvest on Sunday after a 5-year-old boy was found in a body of water near Loganberry Lane. The second being that 2-year-old in Morgan County, that was last night, and the third being this one in Arab. And in the Shoals, in case you missed it, a 21-year-old Sheffield man is dead after a drowning occurred on June 19th. 48's Aria Pond spoke with the victim's family yesterday, and let's take a listen to what they had to say.
I keep waiting for him to call me.
Angel McCoy says she spoke with her son Kyle McCoy the morning before he drowned. That's why she says she was confused when officers called to tell her Kyle was missing. Officers told her that Kyle was near the Whippoorwill area when he jumped off the bluffs into the water and never resurfaced.
There is no blame. It's just like kids out riding their dirt bikes. You know, everyone's got to try something for the first time. You can be experienced and have an accident on a dirt bike. You can be experienced, jump in that river and lose it.
She says she cannot believe her baby is truly gone. McCoy says Kyle was kind, caring, and would always be there for anyone in need.
He spent a lot of his life trying to make other people happy.
Sheffield Fire Chief Matt Mothershed says he's seen too many drownings that could have been prevented if someone was wearing a life jacket. Now Sheffield firefighters want to make sure that they give the chance to anyone who wants to go swimming this summer to have a life jacket. They're teaming up with 256 Thrift Center to collect them. Assistant Manager Becky Berryman says you can drop them off anytime this summer at their store.
Unfortunately, there are times when people die because they don't have a flotation device or a life jacket. So in an effort to prevent a tragedy, we're going to be partnering with them to help get those available to the public.
Well, thank you, Aria. Life jackets are crucial in a very sad situation there. Today, staying in the Shoals, Aria will be providing updates for you all on the leash law in Lawrence County. Now, this law comes after the death of 83-year-old Willard Norton, who was mauled by 2 dogs last month, which sadly killed him. Aria has been at the special commission meeting today in Lawrence County, where commissioners are expected to adopt the state's leash law. So make sure to stick around for the latest. Now, in case you missed it, the immunity hearing for Keith Sullivan concluded yesterday, and whether he is immune or not now rests in the hands of a DeKalb County judge. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with this situation, Sullivan is the Grove Oak man who was charged with murder after allegedly killing his neighbor back in May of 2023. Sullivan has pled not guilty, claiming self-defense. After 4 witnesses testified on behalf of Sullivan's defense, both sides now rested. The case will go on to Judge Shanathan Bell, who will have 2 weeks to either decide whether Sullivan is immune or send the case before a jury. Yesterday, 48 Savannah Sapp spoke with friends of the Sullivan family, and let's listen to what they had to say.
I think Keith did the right thing. I think any person would do that to defend their family, because I know I would. My family is my everything, so I think he did what he thought was right given the situation he'd been through, even the day prior.
And speaking of immunity, it was a historic Supreme Court decision yesterday as it ruled 6-3 that U.S. presidents have broad immunity from prosecution. Yesterday, 48's Matthew King went around the area and asked some Alabama officials, such as GOP Chairman John Wall, Attorney Will League, and former Senator Doug Jones, their thoughts on the new SCOTUS decision. Let's see what they had to say.
Alabama Republican Party Chair John Wall choosing to celebrate today's landmark Supreme Court decision. That decision to reaffirm former President Donald Trump's presidential immunity in his election interference case.
There's a reason that our founding fathers made sure that presidents had immunity. And it's not just while they were in office. A president should not be worried about legal action as they're making critical decisions in the White House, in the Oval Office, as they're facing emergency situations.
He says immunity should extend to all presidents, even across party lines.
Joe Biden has done many things that I consider unconstitutional and that I would love to see him held accountable for. But I think at the same time, the people of America elected him. They elected him to fulfill his vision for the country. And I think you have to respect that. And that part of that process comes with presidential immunity. And I think it has to be consistent both for Republicans and Democrats.
Conversely, Attorney Will League says the case has not yet established exactly what in the case constitutes immunity, which he says could create confusion.
It's concerning that those acts may be immune. And so while the Supreme Court did allow the district court to review those particular acts, they did allow or reserve the right to hear those issues up on appeal.
Similarly, former U.S. Senator and Attorney Doug Jones, a Democrat, saying this ruling leaves more questions than answers. He gave me an example as to why.
Let's suppose a bribe is taken by a president in order to appoint an ambassador or to somebody else to a cabinet position. What the court's saying here is the appointment itself is not evidence and it can't be prosecuted. That doesn't mean the bribe itself can't be prosecuted.
Well, thank you, Matthew. Now in Decatur, the Decatur City Council has approved a third party to review and investigate their police department. Green Research and Technologies will sift through 700 hours of police body cam footage starting as soon as today. Yesterday, 48's Nick Ballinger attended the City Council meeting and spoke with Green Research CEO Tory Green.
It's about the people, but it's about the police too. Let's find out the truth.
The independent firm Green Research and Technology CEO Tory Green says he's heard the concerns from residents and city leaders involving the Decatur Police Department, and now it's time to get to work. Decatur City Council approved the third-party review, reviewing the entire department as soon as tomorrow.
But the first part is getting access to everything that we need access to.
That access he's talking about is over 700 hours worth of body cam footage, police reports, and department policies. The footage they'll watch can be anything from traffic stops, domestic violence calls, and even footage from the protests following Steve Perkins' shooting death.
I have some ideas, but I am not privy to certain information yet because I don't have it. So we'll have that tomorrow.
The effort to start a third-party review comes from the Decatur City Council President Jacob Ladner, but Nick Perkins, the brother of Steve Perkins, who was shot and killed by a Decatur police officer on September 29th of last year, says this should have happened sooner.
This should have been put in place 9 months ago. It's a shame that my brother's situation had to result in this type of action.
Perkins hopes this review on policies and procedures can shed light on the department.
We have a corrupt police department, that we have no leadership with our mayor, and that we have no leadership with our police chief.
Now, if you're around the Athens area and looking to go out with a bang this 4th of July, the Red, White, and Boom fireworks show at Athens Middle School could be your place to go. Today, I interviewed Holly Hallman with the City of Athens, and she spoke about the fireworks show. And let's take a listen.
Department usually prepares for up to 10,000 people to come and park to watch the show because it's a free event, and if it's a beautiful night, it's a great way to get out and hang out with your family and friends and make new friends that you may be sitting next to.
Wow, 10,000 people, that is incredible. But what makes Athens Middle School such an ideal location to host a 4th of July event such as this one?
They utilize the football stadium there, so it's a great place to have a safe fireworks show. The stadium's not open for seating, but people can come and park and gather there. We have 2 parks nearby. You have several schools nearby that allow people to park. And then some of the businesses will even allow people to park up and down US 31. So it's just a nice central location for everybody to safely watch the fireworks.
That is so awesome. And earlier you mentioned that 10,000 people are expected to head out there. Can you further talk about the Athens community and just what makes an event like this so special to them?
The great thing that I have found about Athens, because I moved here several years ago, is that they love a celebration. They love parades. They love gatherings downtown. They love getting together for the fireworks. It's a very friendly community. And of course, we're the fastest growing community in the state. So we have a lot of new folks that have moved in. And if you've never been to a fireworks show, it would be a prime opportunity for you to come out, meet some of your neighbors, meet other citizens that live here. And of course, we get a lot of visitors from Tennessee and the Shoals and other areas that want to come out to the fireworks show. And it's just a fantastic way to spend a night getting to know your community better.
Very nice. Or maybe you're traveling this holiday weekend. Here's a look at how people on the roads, along with the average national gas prices. NBC's Mara Barrett reports. Let's take a listen.
It's expected to be another record-breaking holiday travel week ahead of the 4th of July holiday. 70 million Americans expected to travel, 60 million of them hitting the roads. Highways like the one behind me expected to fill up over the next few days as people get around to their various destinations. As for gas prices, they're going to be a little lower than they were last year, just a couple cents, but down from $5 2 years ago. So in that $3.50 range now is definitely going to be a welcome sight for a lot of drivers, in addition to the fact that the Biden administration just announcing that they've released more of the oil reserves, selling off 42 million gallons of gas in hopes to drop those gas prices a little more. That will largely impact the Northeast because of where those reserves are coming from. But either way, something that they're looking to really tout as they're working towards bringing down American consumer and their travel prices. Now, in terms of when to get on the road, Tuesday afternoon today, 2 to 6 p.m. is going to be the busiest time on the road, so better to get out there probably after 7 p.m., experts say. And then if you're waiting until Wednesday morning or Thursday or Friday morning for that matter, experts also advise you want to get out there as early as possible before 10 a.m. Back to you.
Well, thank you. And now in space news, an update on Starliner. The astronauts are not stranded on the International Space Station. NBC's Tom Costello reports.
But let's go forward into Starliner, where...
On board the International Space Station, astronauts Sonny Williams and Butch Wilmore are still waiting to learn when they might return home.
Everything's been fantastic. The spacecraft is handled remarkably well.
2 weeks ago, they provided a tour of their spaceship.
And liftoff of Starliner and Atlas V, carrying 2 American heroes.
Built by Boeing, Starliner launched on June 5th, 5 years behind schedule, after a series of engineering setbacks. Then, once in space, more problems. 5 helium leaks, which NASA says are not a major concern. But more concerning, 5 engine thrusters shut down as Starliner prepared to dock with the space station. While 4 came back online, NASA wants to understand the problem before Starliner leaves the station. This is their only chance because that section of the ship that contains the thrusters, the service module, is designed to burn up on re-entry. So astronauts Williams and Wilmore's 10-day visit is turning into a weeks-long stay.
I want to make it very clear that Butch and Sonny are not stranded in space. Our plan is to continue to return them on Starliner and return them home at the right time.
There's plenty of food, there's plenty of resources up there, there's plenty of clothing. They will be absolutely fine for an extended period of time.
Before they launched, I asked the crew if they were confident in their ship.
Does this spaceship feel like it's ready for prime time?
Yes, that's the short answer. Absolutely yes. That's the long answer.
For now, NASA engineers will begin replicating the thruster problems, but on the ground in New Mexico. That's expected to take at least 2 weeks, leaving a return date up in the air.
Very nice. Now, I saw this story today and I just immediately said, this is going into Before the Four. But have you ever wondered where all the foul balls go at a baseball game? The ones that leave the park can put a dent into your car, but then a ball shagger might actually grab that ball. Someone like Warren McGee. WSFA has this story, and let's take a listen.
Outside of Riverwalk Stadium.
Because you don't want to be hit by a baseball, because you can wind up in the ER.
This man.
We need to win tonight because we lost last night.
Named Warren McGee.
Got 3 E's, like McGee Road. That's my kinfolk.
Stands on Tallapoosa Street.
It's like fishing. You never know when one's going to come over, see.
Waiting for batters to do this.
Well, I shag balls. Well, what is shagging balls? That's getting the balls that come over the stadium and over the ball field.
If you've been to a Biscuits game, you've probably seen Mr. McGee with 3 E's outside Riverwalk Stadium, patiently waiting for a foul ball.
Come on, foul ball, let's get one coming over. One season I got 150 baseballs and made $300 selling them at $2 a piece.
But Mr. McGee says he doesn't need the money anymore. He gives the foul balls to a lucky fan after the game.
I give the balls away to children and to grandpas and they give them to their grandsons.
Born in Highland Park in Montgomery, Mr. McGee says he's been shagging balls since he was 5 years old. He says his love for baseball started with his second cousin, the late Mac O. McWhorter, who played for the Montgomery Rebels and professionally with the Milwaukee Brewers. After many jobs and a stop in the Marine Corps, Mr. McGee found his way back to Montgomery, retired now but preaches on the side. This year, he's celebrating 13 years of shagging balls.
And a very interesting 13 years, and it's dangerous what I do out here, but I've got a guardian angel, and God has me out here to help people get across this street out here.
He stands on Tallapoosa Street, keeping close eye on the sky, waiting to see a ball or hear a thump on a car. Mr. McGee says he averages about 4 balls per game, but says sometimes it takes luck.
That's better than none. One better than none. A little gravy is better than no gravy. Yeah, buddy.
Now, we didn't have much luck while I was filming him, but while interviewing him, you gotta go get it.
Can I get it?
Well, what just happened?
Huh?
What just happened?
The ball just came over there and hit a car.
You can go get it.
Can I go get it?
At 84 years young, Mr. McGee says he does this all for fun.
I'm just, apparently God wants me here to be here this long because I'm still here. Not many men can do what I do. And I'm 84 to be able to run that fast, and that's a blessing.
Very awesome. And that was one of those stories that you're just not going to want to miss. Warren McGee, everyone, down in Montgomery for the Montgomery Biscuits. So that was a super awesome story. And I was like, I saw it. I was like, that is going into today's Before the Four without a doubt. But speaking of stories you're just not going to want to miss, let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss. The latest on Hurricane Beryl as it has strengthened to a Category 5, the latest on a water line break in Madison, and an incredible story of a 91-year-old getting a hot air balloon. These are all the stories you're just not going to want to miss in tonight's newscast. And also, you're not going to want to miss the first alert forecast tonight to see how the weather might shape up for your 4th of July plans. These are all stories you're not going to want to miss. And now it is time for my favorite section, or my favorite little segment that we do here on Before the Four. It is called, of course, Facebook Fun. And today's question was, if you could only listen to one musician or band for a long road trip, who would you choose? This was a very hard choice for me. I was amazed by how many awesome comments that you all had. It ranged from all genres of music. So I had a very difficult time choosing some of my favorites for this one. Let's just say that. But let's see what I chose. Jackie Alexander Murphy, you said the Eagles. Of course, you cannot go wrong with the Eagles, especially on those days you just want to take it easy. Take It Easy by the Eagles is, of course, it's one of my favorite songs of all time. So I definitely have to agree with you, Jackie. The Eagles are up there. Let's see what else y'all said. Pat Douglas said Johnny Cash. He's been the musical companion for all recent long-haul road trips. Very nice. There is nothing wrong with a little Johnny Cash. Very, very awesome. Pat, thank you so much for commenting. Karen, she said Elton John. Why, who else? Elton John, he's a legend. He has so many songs that I know word for word, and yeah, he's just an iconic musician. Karen, thank you so much for commenting. Angela, she said Bon Jovi. Talk about classics. Bon Jovi has some classics. I mean, you cannot go wrong with Bon Jovi. And of course, for any long road trip, that is, at least Wanted Dead or Alive is gonna come up in my playlist if I'm on a long road trip. But Angela, thank you for commenting. And Terry said the Beatles. Why, probably, hot take, they might be the greatest rock band of all time, the Beatles. Cannot go wrong with the Beatles. But thank you for commenting, Terry. That is just about all the time I have in today's Before the Four. I want to thank you all for watching, sticking around with me, and just spending a little bit of your Tuesday afternoon with me. I hope you all have a great night. Enjoy the evening newscast. And like I said earlier, if you haven't done so already, make sure to download the 48 Digital app along with the First Alert Weather app. And there is now a sports app that you're going to want to get for any of you sports fans watching right now. The 48 Sports Zone app, and all of the great sports news will be on that. Turn on those push notifications and never miss a story. But with that said, that is all the time I have. And of course, I want to thank you for watching. You all have a great night.